You wake up, you do not check your email, you check the news, you are scanning for updates on the latest trade war, the proxy conflict that just escalated, or the sovereign nation that just had its supply line severed. Then you look at your bank account and you calculate how many months of rent you have left. The visceral, low level vibrations of anxiety, that is the sound of 2026 job market. You feel it. Rejections are up, recruiters are slower, the ghosting isn't just rude, it feels systematic. Your instinct is telling you to panic. Your brain is telling you to stop your job search and just hunker down until the world stabilizes. But I need you to listen to me very carefully. In the 2026 job market, a hunker down means hunker dead. A geopolitical volatile world does not create a job shortage. It creates a radical job alignment. Right now, your instinct is to withdraw. Today, we are going to do the exact opposite. I'm going to show you how the elite, high performance candidate just don't survive the global instability. They use it as a powerful algorithmic signal to identify the new center of capital and opportunity. We are going to stop being victims of the noise. We are going to start being strategic investor in your own capability. Welcome back. I'm Dr. HR. Geopolitical instability in 2026 is not an interruption. It is the new clinical baseline. In a high stakes market like the UAE, which serves a global hub connecting East and West, we feel these geopolitical tremors faster and more intentionally than almost anywhere else. Your residency, your family's stability, and your professional future are often directly tethered to corporate decisions made thousands of miles away. Avoiding or suppressing the negative emotions associated with this clinical uncertainty is a strategic error. Research consistently shows it correlates with a higher level of anxiety and depression. High performance candidates treat their mental stamina and situational awareness as a primary professional asset, just as critical as their technical skills or their network. A world on fire doesn't mean no one is hiring. It means that what companies are hiring for and where they are hiring has fundamentally shifted. Here is your 4-phase strategy for the executing a high-impact job search during the global chaos. Phase 1. The Macro-Audit. Filtering the noise. You cannot strategize when you are operating out of fear or frustration. To win the long game, you must actively manage your psychological state and your situational awareness. You must execute a macro audit of the forces impacting your target industry. The primary effect of the geopolitical conflict in 2026 is the rapid, algorithmically driven capital migration. Money is like a scared rabbit. The second danger appears, it bolts for the nearest hole. Your priority is identifying where that money is hiding. If your core industry is based in a nation currently experiencing conflict, currency collapse, or intense sanctions, you must depersonalize that reality. The no or the silence you are receiving from that market is not an indictment of your value. It is a logical corporate decision to halt hiring in a high-risk zone. Instead of obsessing over the bad news, you must identify the neutral zones and the opportunistic hubs. In 2026, the UAE and the select regions of Southeast Asia and Latin America have cemented themselves as a digital safe havens for the capital and talent migrations. You must adopt what I call the consultative approach. Instead of looking at your search as a desperate attempt to gain security, look at it as an opportunity to offer creativity to a company that is currently drowning in complexity. You must filter the noise to identify specific problems that geopolitical volatility are created and position yourself as the exact surgeon to fix them. Phase 2. The tactical skill DNA alignment. Once your situational awareness is clear, we must execute the tactical autopsy of your own resume. A standard resume from 2024 will not get you hired in 2026 stability effects market. What is your skill DNA? It is not just your title or your tools. It is the raw, fundamental capability that defines your professional value. In a volatile market, titles are useless. Capabilities are everything. You must align your skill DNA with the 5 stability pillars that defines 2026 hiring. Resilience engineering. Can you build a supply chain that can survive a conflict zone? Can you engineer a software infrastructure that is immune to state-sponsored cyber attacks? Regulatory and sanitization. Geopolitics create in trade, data protection like UAE PDPL, and the anti-money laundering laws. If you can navigate sanctions compliance, you are automatically a high-value asset. Cost optimization and algorithmic efficiencies. When the world is unstable, CFOs dominate corporate strategy. They want to cut cost. If you can use the AI like DaVinci Resolve Speed Wrap to reduce production time by 50%, you aren't just an editor. You are a cash flow generator. Next, cultural intelligence and neutral negotiation. Can you manage a team split between 2 warring nations? Can you negotiate a contract between a Chinese state-owned enterprise and a Western multinational? Navigating the complex diplomatic currents, cross-border talent acquisition. Can you execute the multi-AI relaunch to source niche talent in difficult regions? Do not guess which skills are in demand. Use the AI intelligence gathering methods. Open Grok 4 and ask, list the top 5 technical skills being requested in job postings for cite your industry in the UAE over the last 30 days, specifically focusing on roles that mention compliance, security, or cost optimization. Provide specific company name. Inject those hard skills into your resume's core competency section. If you are just an editor, you become a DaVinci Resolve certified specialist, AI workflow automation expert, GCC, regulatory compliance liaison. Phase 3. Activating the multi-AI relaunch for the hidden jobs. Now that you have upgraded the skill DNA, we deploy our AI infrastructure to pivot to the next target. Do not go back to the standard job board where you are competing with 5,000 other desperate people. They are applying for the jobs that are being affected by the instability. We are going to use Grok 4 to uncover the hidden job market. A hidden job market is not a secret job. It is a job that the stability effect has created, but the company hasn't had the time to post yet. Prompt Grok access the live X data. Search for the tweets posted in last 48 hours containing the phrases urgently hiring or crisis response team needed, combined with keywords like supply chain or security compliance in Dubai. Identify companies that seems to be expanding their stability or compliance division in the GCC. This is how you get ahead of the noise. You're identifying the companies that have budget, but because they must solve the complexity. Next, use Gemini 3.0 to automate your pipeline and maintain your mental ROI. Geopolitical search requires rigorous data tracking to combat the instability-induced anxiety. Utilize Gemini natively within the Google Sheets to build an automated job tracker. Have it track, let's say, application date, company locations, identifying neutral zone exposure, specific stability pillar, the role addresses. Next, follow-up date. This turns your chaotic external narrative, global chaos, into an external manageable problem, a sorted spreadsheet. You must limit your active applications and time box your search. Limit active applications to 5 specific companies per day to prevent the psychological drain of raise applying. Adopt the micro-win mentality. Sending one tailored, high-value resume is a victory. Building one high-quality connection is a victory. Phase 4. Building your global ecosystem online application is the slowest and the most statistically improbable route to employment. Networking serves as a critical short circuit, allowing you to bypass filters and secure the direct referral that define the hidden job market. In 2026, networking isn't about glad handling. It is about strategic sanitization. You are not asking people for help. You are connecting nodes in a global intelligence network. Take out a piece of paper and write down your golden 20. This is your curated group of existing or potential contacts. Score each individual across two metrics: helpfulness, their perceived willingness to assist, and influence, their proximity to your target neutral zone roles. Reach out to the high influence, high helpfulness target immediate, but use the 60-second of value protocol. Do not place the burden of help on the contact by asking, "How can I help you?" Proactively offer a small, targeted gesture of support without being asked. Share a niche 2026 white paper on the trade conflict is reshaping. Cite their industry, GCC logistics, or make a valuable introduction to a contact who can solve their complexity. Ruthlessness, redirect your professional energy away from avoiders, those who are evasive or slow to respond, often because their own companies are in crisis. Pivot the time into cultivating deeper relationship with your advocates, those high trust nodes who are in stable, neutral zones. Transform them into a vocal board of advisors who will actively pull you into the unlisted high tier opportunities because they want your stability DNA on their team. Your ecosystem is just people, it is platform. Stop fighting bots on generic job boards. Upload your skill DNA profile to talentbridge.namaste.ai. Let our proprietary algorithm read your specific capability, your certification in sanctions compliance, or your ability to engineer supply chain resilience, and match you directly with the employer who are actively looking for those exact capabilities in 2026 neutral zones. If you want to audit your inputs today, if you are spending 3 hours a day on doom scrolling, geopolitical news, and the shared negativity, you are destroying your own mental stamina. A volatile world doesn't reduce opportunities, it accelerates their migration. What was the stable last year is now in crisis? What was an opportunity hub last year is now a critical global bottleneck? Rejection is simply the market telling you that your specific skill DNA belongs on a different, better self. You are not a desperate applicant. You are a career architect. You don't beg for a seat. You identify specific targets, tailor your brand to those exact roles, and position yourself as a premium asset. That provides the one thing corporate leaders are currently begging for: stability DNA. You have the tools. You have the resilience. Process the blip. Execute strategy. And I'll see you at the top.